Hello, I'm Chance McWorthy, Registrar at myMountMercy University, here to talk to you about academic requirements for graduation. myMountMercy University has three requirements for graduation, primary requirements, academic requirements for graduation. The first is that you complete the core curriculum. The second is that you complete at least one major. And the third is that you complete enough elective hours to get to 123. I'm going to talk about each one of those while showing you some pages from our university catalog. The catalog is our comprehensive resource for all our most important information, including academic information. And you can revisit the catalog yourself at catalog.mtmercy.edu at any point after this video is over. So to break down our academic requirements a little further, I'm going to start with the core curriculum. The core curriculum is extremely important because it tells you a little bit about what Mount Mercy really feels is important for every student. Every student is required to complete the courses within the core curriculum, regardless of if you are a freshman coming in to college for the first time, or if you are a transfer student coming in to Mount Mercy University from another school. The only exception would be if you're coming back for a second degree, we do not require the core curriculum. Our core curriculum is broken up into several different categories. And I'm going to focus on them quite a bit in this video because we do waive our core curriculum in certain situations. So if we start with thinking about kind of the beginning of the core curriculum, we talk about the portal. The portal is sort of an introduction to college class, and it's at the front of the bookend. Every freshman will take it. If you're a transfer student and you have an AA degree from an Iowa community college, or if you're going to transfer in at least 60 semester hours, we do waive that portal requirement. And I'm going to try to point out these places for transfer students where things are often waived. The reason why I'm doing that is because it's important for you to make sure that we have your updated record as a transfer student. So if you can send us a updated transcript and you've already done that, that's great. But you might still be enrolled in classes right now, taking other things. So it's important to make sure that we get your most updated record as soon as possible. So we know, for example, that you're transferring 60 hours instead of maybe the 48 that we have on the transcript that you last sent us. The other thing that's important is you know you're going to get an AA from an Iowa community college or transfer in those 60 hours, that you mention that during your advising appointment to make sure that your advisor knows that you don't need to sign up for something like the portal. So the core curriculum includes that introductory class, and then it includes a bunch of other courses that are also critically important that we call the competencies. And the competencies are the courses that we feel are sort of the core of the core, the things that everybody needs to know. Writing is one of those that you see here, oral communication, mathematics. Those are all core competencies. Every student is required to take them. Again, unless you have an AA from an Iowa community college, then we waive all those. The rest of the core is what you would think of as traditional gen ed courses. So we call those domains, and the domains come in areas where you would probably expect: literature, fine arts, history, science, religion, philosophy, something that we call self and society, which includes psychology and sociology and criminal justice and economics. Um, we also have a couple more in global awareness and holistic health. So those are all important courses in our mind for a well-rounded education. And you are, if you have that AA from the Iowa Community College, all of those are waived other than one of these two requirements. So if you get the AA from the Iowa Community College, you don't have to do anything I just listed, except you have to do at least one philosophy course or one religion course with Mount Mercy, even if you've had one in the past. So obviously freshmen will do them all. Transfer students, you may have some of them waived if you have that AA from the Iowa Community College. The final part of the core curriculum is the other end of the bookend. So we talked about the portal already, which is the introductory class. This is the culminating class. It's typically taken junior or senior year, and it sort of sums up all of the Gen Ed requirements. We call it the Mount Mercy capstone. Everybody takes it regardless. So even if you have the AA from the Iowa Community College, you'll still take the capstone. So the capstone is required for everyone, which means if you have that AA from the Iowa Community College, you would end up with just the two requirements to complete the core curriculum, which would be the religion or philosophy course and the capstone. So as I said, basically there's sort of three branches to getting a degree from Mount Mercy, and number one is the core curriculum. Number two is a major. And you can see here on the left side of our catalog under curriculum, we list many of our majors. We have a large number, over 40 to choose from. Students at Mount Mercy are required to do at least one major. You are allowed to do two or three majors, up to three majors simultaneously. And you can also add minors to that, but three majors is the max, one being the minimum. Every major is a little bit different. That's why it's important as you go through advising and meeting with a faculty member from your specific area, that you spend a time getting to know, understanding the rules and the requirements of your major, the GPA requirements. What's nice about these catalog pages is it does provide a lot of information for you. So if we can just look at one of those, I'm just going to use nursing as an example here. If we look at the nursing page, we see tons of information about the most important parts of the nursing major, but we also see a breakdown of all the required courses for that major, both the prerequisites and the actual required courses and any academic requirements. And we also have a plan of study that sort of outlines what 4 years, 2 years, 1 year, whatever that might be, would look like as a nursing student. So lots of good information in the catalog for someone who's interested in knowing everything there is to know about their major. The final branch then to graduation is electives. So if you have a major maybe that doesn't have as many requirements as we see with nursing. So if we pick a different major, and if we look at history here, for example, and the plan of study, you'll see that there's a lot of room in here for electives, because the history major doesn't require a lot of courses. So you would have then room to potentially add a second major, third major. We have a number of minors. Any of those things you could add. We have some ensemble opportunities in our music program with band and choir and show choir. We have options for some travel and study abroad opportunities that would also meet those requirements. So a lot of times when we start to think about um, the idea of elective hours or meeting that 123, which is the number required, people think it means another classroom course, which isn't necessarily the case. The other thing that I want you to just keep in mind is that typically a transfer student will transfer maximum 63 up to 75 hours in um, some majors, which would kind of give you an idea of what that 123 hours would actually look like. So those are the three branches to to the myMountMercy degree. The other thing that's important to mention now is, other than the catalog, the other tools that we give for you to follow along with what's happening with your record academically, which is a product that we have called self-service. So this is myMountMercy, self-service myMountMercy, which is basically your academic resource, but also sort of where you'll conduct all your business um, with the institution. So there's just a couple of things here that I want you to be aware of as you'll use this and get more comfortable with it. The first one is that you can search the course schedule without even logging in. So here we can select a registration period, for example, fall 2020. We can put in a course code of a course that we might be interested in taking. In this case, it'll be Introduction to Psychology. We can search for that and it will bring up all of the sections of Introduction to Psychology that are offered in the fall. And you can do that with any course. You can also leave this course field blank here and search just about anything, or just have an entire schedule. You can also use this advanced search. For example, if you wanted to see all the courses as we looked at that core curriculum, all the courses, for example, that meet the math competency in the fall, we can do a search for that. And here's all the courses that meet the math competency in the fall. So that's one thing that's important to know right off the bat. The other thing that I'll do is that you're going to have a username and password that will be provided to you. So you'll be able to log in like I'm about to right now as a student. And I'm going to just give you a few pointers as I log in here. Okay, so when you log in, it's going to look something like this. And there's a couple of things that I want to point out in here as you look. You have a My Profile tab here where you can add some important information. This is where you can come in, change personal information, address, phone number, and emergency contacts. So that'll kind of be the first thing that you want to look at when you log in to myMountMercy. The other tabs on here that are important to you, this is a grades tab where you'll be able to get a grade report, an enrollment verification, or an unofficial transcript if you need to submit those things, maybe for insurance, or you just want to have it for your record. Those are all there. When it comes time to pay your bill, and you'll get more information on this from the financial aid department and the billing department, this is the area where you'll do that. It's also in this system. This is the area where you can look at a schedule. You can look at your schedule for a particular year. And then finally, we have the register tab, which is an important tab that I wanted you to see. This is where you'll actually come every time you register after this one to sign up for classes. So you'll talk with your advisor, they will give you a schedule, and then you'll be able to come in here and either establish that schedule or add or drop courses if that's something that you need to do in the future. So a couple of things that I want to point out here. One is this academic plan link right here. So if we click on that, this academic plan gives you some information on what you have met already, and it's going to be a live updating degree audit tool. So, for example, this particular student is a psychology major. So if we click on that, we see the core curriculum listed first. And we see the different courses that the student has already completed, and we see those things checked off. So we see oral communication, math, that's checked off. It means that requirement's already been met. And as we check those things off, then you can follow along, your advisor can follow along and know the courses that you've completed. As we get further down, we see this right here. This means the course is currently in progress. So the check marks are a completed course, the hourglasses are a course in progress. After we get through the core curriculum, which was this first part, then we have, these are all the requirements for the psychology major. So we see these things that the student has completed. So this is an important tool for you to take a look at. If there's anything that is an issue that you think might be incorrect, you should either talk to your advisor or email us at registrar@mymercy.edu. We can help out and take a look at that plan. Without going into too much detail, I do want to tell you that you will be able to take a look at this this right here, which is going to be your ability to actually register for classes. So when you log in, this particular student isn't active, but when you log in, you will see these links for the given terms. So when you, it will tell you you're eligible to register at this time. You'll be able to click into that particular term. Like this term, for example, you would be able to click into, and then it will bring back up that search box that I showed you earlier. You'll be able to search for those classes. You'll put those courses into your cart. So it's a little bit like online shopping. So you can find courses to add to your cart, a little bit like what we were doing earlier. So we have fall PS 101, which we were doing earlier. So we can search that. And if we wanted to here, we could come and we could add that course to our cart. So it's just kind of like you're buying something on Amazon or you're buying something on a Target's website. You can add that course to your cart, and then there's a process in the end after you've got all the courses that you want in there where you would actually check out. Sometimes what you'll see is that a course will actually be full, so there won't be any seats available here in any of these sections. So instead of saying add, this button will actually say wait. And when you click on wait, then it will put you on a list, because as you can see here, we try to keep our class sizes pretty small. That's one of the things that myMountMercy really cares about, is those small class sizes. So once 25 seats are taken, we put you on a wait list, and then it's first come, first serve. So if a spot opens up, we'll automatically put you in the class. You don't have to actually take any action. We'll just send you an email that says you're automatically in the class. If for some reason you don't get in and you really want or really need that class, then when that class starts, you could contact the instructor and ask for a seat in that class. But you wouldn't do that until that class actually started. Before that, we just use the wait list to manage those different sections. And if the wait list gets really large, so if there's, 30 people on a wait list, we're obviously going to create a new section of that course. So we kind of also use those wait lists to make sure we know how many sections we need. So those are really the key important things to know. The other thing that I did want to point out that is a little bit different here is at myMountMercy, we actually have two different calendars. So we have courses that meet face-to-face. We also have courses that will meet online. So it's important to notice when you're searching for a course, is there a time listed, and what is that time? So if we take a look again at the course that we just were searching for, we see here that all of these have days and times listed right along this end right here. But if we go back to a different section, let's say about economics. We won't do a time frame on it. If we look here, we'll see this section here does not have any days or times. This section does not have any days or times. This section does not have any days and times. If we look at that Q right there, those sections that have the Q going down, those are online sections. That means there actually is not a physical time and place that meets. That's going to meet via our Brightspace, our online system. So just something to talk to your advisor about. It's possible that you are a good candidate to take an online class. It's possible that maybe that's not for you, but something to note. The other thing to note is that we do again have different dates that courses meet. So if we go back here to the fall, and we'll stick with economics here. You see here that this course meets at all of these standard time frame. So there aren't any differences in the time frame. But if we go back and search for an entire year, we'll see here that some of these courses meet for a shorter time frame. So it doesn't meet for a full semester, it meets for a shorter time period. The reason for that is, again, we have two different calendars. So we have online courses, we have face-to-face courses that are semester long, and then we have face-to-face courses that are 5 or 10 weeks long. Now you might be a candidate to take just one of those, a mix of them. It's something to talk about with your advisor as you register. But when you look at the registration screen, you might see that it's something that isn't a mistake. It's meant to be that way, the two different calendars. And it's something to make sure you're asking your advisor about if you want to take courses outside that normal sort of 15 or 16-week semester system. If you have any questions about registering, academics, myMountMercy, you can send those to registrar@mtmercy.edu. We're happy to be your resource on all things academic.